village that is 100% zero waste.
वो सबसे पहले कचरा फेंकते थे, इधर ओने कोने में देखता था, कोई नहीं देख रहा, रोड पे फेंकिया है, चाहे पड़ोस वाले के मकान में नहीं देख रहा, पड़ोस वाले के बाहर ही पड़ी थी। अब ऐसी हो गई, ठीक है आएगा कचरा सुबह उठा के ले जाए।
और जो किचन वेस्ट निकलता है ना, फल सब्जी इनके छिलके वगैरह, उनकी हम है ना कंपोस्ट बना लेते हैं।
What if I told you that one of the most advanced sustainability projects in India isn't in a fancy tech park?
It's right here with me in Andhi.
In this small village in Rajasthan, not a single piece of waste from food to water gets thrown away. It gets used. And the person who made this happen? Dr. Sudipti Arora, a biotechnologist with a PhD from IIT Roorkee. And she left the lab to come here to the dust and the heat for one reason.
To prove that it's not worth publishing so many research papers if science and technology is actually not reaching society.
Between chemotherapy sessions for stage 2 cancer, Sudipti designed a revolutionary self-sustaining blueprint for Andhi. It was brilliant. So brilliant, in fact, Sudipti got a rupees 2 crore grant to make it real. The funding was received at Dr. B. Lal Institute of Biotechnology, Jaipur, Rajasthan. First, the vermifilter, using a simple but genius design of earthworms, gravel and solar-powered pumps. She created a system that takes dirty water from kitchens and bathrooms and makes it clean enough for farming.
This one of its kind, my own patented technology, vermifiltration technology, is being implemented at Andhi village, Rajasthan, and the treated water is now being used in the gardens.
Then the biogas plant in the local school. Instead of throwing away food waste, it now powers the school's kitchen. The children see circular economy in action every single day.
ये बायोगैस हमारे खाने में उपयोग आता है और जो भी मतलब गला हुआ कचरा जो भी होता है हम इसमें डालते हैं, इससे बायोगैस बनती है।
And perhaps the most beautiful, floating wetlands.
When Sudipti came to Andhi for the very first time, she saw 80% of the sewage being dumped right here. This water was then used for farming practices.
That's when we thought that we should do something about it. We should build a nature-based system that could naturally treat this wastewater. And then we designed and developed a 20 KLD constructed wetland technology. Now, plants treat this sewage wastewater and the water is being now used for sustainable agriculture practices.
Sudipti and her team turned the entire village into a living, breathing, eco-living lab. And it worked. But to truly grasp its importance, we need to understand the immense pressure India is under right now.
12 million hectares. That's how much forest cover India has lost in the last 30 years. I'll give you another number. 1,50,000 tons. That's how much solid waste we generate every single day. And 75% of it ends up in landfills or dumped in our environment. If that doesn't convince you about the sheer scale of the problem, here are two more. 30 of the world's most 50 polluted cities are here in India. 4.8 million people die every year from pollution-related diseases. This is a public health, economic and survival crisis happening right now.
Now here's the good news. For each of these crises, innovators are building ingenious, scalable solutions. This isn't just about problems. It's about the blueprint for sustainable India. Let's meet them. Challenge 1. The linear economy of waste. Our cities generate 1,50,000 tons of solid waste daily. But the deeper problem is that our system is linear. We take, we make, we dispose. Organic waste, which makes up over 50% of this, rots in landfills, producing methane, a greenhouse gas 25 times more potent than CO2 and legit that poisons groundwater.
The solution? Engineering a circular ecosystem. Dr. Sudipti Arora attacked this linear model at its root. In Andhi, she didn't just manage waste, she eliminated the concept of waste itself. One person's output is another's input, mimicking nature itself.
Challenge 2. Industrial land degradation. India has lost 12 million hectares of forest cover in last 30 years. But it's not just forest, it's land made toxic by industrial byproducts like fly ash, turning vast areas into dead zones. These wastelands are incapable of supporting life, contributing to dust pollution, and representing a massive loss of productive land. The solution? Phytoremediation, healing lands with plants. Dr. Lal Singh's approach is a masterclass at environmental engineering. He looked at 1,500 acres of toxic fly ash dumping grounds and saw potential, not poison. He used a process called phytoremediation to literally suck the toxins out of the soil and bring the land back to life. How? By planting a specific hardy bamboo species. Why bamboo? Because its deep and dense root system acts like a biopump, breaking up the compacted ash. The bamboo doesn't just grow on land, it actively cleans it. The plants absorb and sequester heavy metals from the soil, gradually detoxifying it. On 1500 acres, he didn't just plant a forest, he deployed a living, breathing cleanup crew, creating a thriving ecosystem where there was once only barren land. Challenge 3: Fragmented habitats. India's rapid development has sliced through ancient forests and elephant corridors with roads, railways, and farms. This fragmentation isolates animal populations, leading to inbreeding and forcing them into deadly conflicts with humans when they try to migrate. The solution: conservation corridors reconnecting the wild. By creating over 100 elephant corridors, Vivek Menon and his team at Wildlife Trust of India are not only protecting over 27,000 elephants, but are also safeguarding the lives and the livelihoods of people living nearby. But creating an elephant corridor isn't just about planting trees. It's a complex process of stitching the wilderness back together by using scientific mapping to identify the most critical pathways, working with villages to secure these pathways, often creating alternative benefits for them, and legal protection, getting these corridors legally recognized as protected areas. Their work has ensured genetic diversity for elephant populations and dramatically reduced tragic encounters, proving that development and conservation can coexist. Challenge number 4: Deep drought and water scarcity. With 600 million Indians facing water stress, drought is a constant threat to farmers, pushing them into crisis. The solution? The dry planting technique. Dr. Sundaram Verma, a farmer himself, refused to accept drought as fate. He cracked a simple revolutionary code: how to grow trees with just 1 liter of water per tree. Ensuring survival in the harshest conditions, his 1 liter water method is a revolution in dry land afforestation. He digs a deep pit, fills it with porous biomass like dried leaves and compost, which acts like a sponge. The sapling is planted deep into the sponge. The single liter of water is poured not on the surface but directly into the reservoir. This method prevents evaporation, the water is stored deep underground, away from the sun, encourages deep roots, the sapling's roots grow down towards the moisture, making it resilient. This is low-tech, high-impact science that has enabled the planting of over a million trees in some of India's driest regions. And if that wasn't enough, he's given hope to millions of farmers that greening their land is possible, even with almost no water. Challenge number 5: High energy, thirsty cities. Our cities are concrete heat islands, guzzling energy and water, completely disconnected from their natural environment. The increasing reliance on AC for cooling and municipal water lines is straining urban infrastructure beyond capacity. The solution: biome-based architecture. Architect Chitra and S. Vishwanath have spent 30 years asking, what if our buildings worked like trees? They designed low-energy structures that use orientations, wind tunnels, and breathable materials to naturally maintain comfortable temperatures, drastically reducing AC need. Every building is designed to harvest every drop of rain that falls on it, storing it in underground tanks and recharging the aquifer. They treat and reuse grey water for gardening and flushing. They build structures that are not just shelters but active life support systems that give back to the environment. So you see, the challenge is vast, for the solutions are tangible. From zero waste village to revived forest, from wildlife corridors to water wise cities. A new blueprint for India is being written not on paper and policy alone, but on ground by these remarkable change makers. They show us that the path to sustainable future is already being walked. This is why at the Better India Showcase 2025, we celebrated these sustainability change makers and the incredible revolutions they are leading. We did it with a singular hope: that their story would inspire many more to start. Their work proves that action, no matter how small it seems, is never insignificant. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being a part of the solution. Maybe it's about supporting a local initiative or simply sharing this video with someone who needs to see that change is possible. You're adding your brick to the foundation of a better India. The ripple begins with one individual, and then this ripple becomes a wave, a movement. So, what's your brick gonna be? What's that one small change you've seen or made in your community? We are genuinely curious. Tell us in the comments below and let's inspire each other. If you believe in solutions, then please hit that like button, share the story of hope, and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching and thank you for being a part of the change, being part of a better India.